Hey gaming fans, so today's another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile, and this is for the GOAT format, and it's called Toon Burn. I originally was just going to make an all-out Toon deck, but then I started adding in some cards that made it like almost like a burn deck too, so I thought, hey, why not Toon Burn? So let's get to the deck profile. So for the starter cards here, we got two Blue Eyes Toon Dragons. So these are your, almost like your finisher. You pull this guy out, 3,000 attack. You have to have Toon World on the field, and it can attack the turn it comes into play, but that's okay. We have ways to work around that, or work with that, I should say. But 3,000 direct attacker as long as you have Toon World out, and your opponent doesn't have any Toons on their side of the field. So that can, add up pretty quick. For the other Toons, we have Toon Mass Sorcerer, just to help get some draw power in this deck. 900 attack, but as long as you attack directly, you can just, hit your opponent for 900, and then you get to draw a card. And with Toon Mass Sorcerer, you don't need Toon World on the field, but then I don't believe you can attack if it's not there. So you really do need to focus on getting that Toon World out. But still, being able to draw a card every turn and do 900 damage is pretty good. I put in one Toon Mermaid just to add that extra monster that you could pull out. She's a special summon monster, so you need Toon World on the field, and then you can special summon her to the field. And then, like the other Toons, can attack the turn it comes into play, but it does 1,400 direct damage every time she attacks, so that's pretty good. And then we have Toon Cannon Soldier, which is part of the burn of this deck. So he's just like the regular Cannon Soldier, but he can attack directly if Toon World's out, and he could pop a monster on your side of the field for 500 damage to your opponent, including himself if you really want to kind of finish off your opponent. Then we're playing 3 Toon Gemini Elf, just because she's, a good one-drop, big 1900 beat stick, can run over most of the common monsters people play in GOAT, and, Breaker with his counter on it would be the only one that it can't run over, or any of the vanilla monsters pretty much that are 19, but most monsters people are not that high. Also, it's, it can also direct attack if you want to, if you have Toon World out, and it rips a card out of your opponent's hand if it does any battle damage. But again, like every other Toon, you have to wait a turn before you can attack with her. So for the non-Toon monsters, we're playing 3 Magician of Faith, because there's a lot of spell cards in this deck that you're going to want to bring back and reuse them. So, Magician of Faith is kind of a great card for this deck. And to help kind of abuse Magician of Faith, Tsukiyumi is a card, obviously, you could flip your opponent's monsters face down, or you could flip your own monsters face down when Tsukiyumi is summoned. And so if you, say, have a Magician of Faith that's already face up, you could summon Tsukiyumi and flip her down, draw another card, or you can go after your opponent's monster and flip it face down. And we have a few reasons why you might want to do that in this deck, which I'll get to soon. So for the spells, we're playing our typical Pot of Greed and Graceful Charity for some draw power. I'm going to play 3 Toon Table of Contents. Again, perfect target for your Magician of Faith, because Toon Table is like a searcher for any card in your deck, or any Toon card in your deck, I should say. So if you need Toon World, if you need Toon Blue Eyes, if you need any of the Toons, so you can Magician of Faith, bring it back. And like I said, if you had Tsukiyumi out as well, you can keep replenishing and keep bringing a Toon to your hand. I'm only playing 2 Toon Worlds because, as much as it's needed in the deck, you don't want to draw too many copies of it. It's searchable by Toon Table of Contents. Plus you have some draw power in here, and you just got to get the one out on the field and just protect it. So for protection, we are playing Magic Reflector. So I got 2 of them here. Essentially, you put like a token or counter on a face-up spell card, and if anything were to destroy that spell card, you remove that token instead. So you could put it on your Toon World. That way, your opponent can't just simply summon Breaker, the Magical Warrior, and get rid of your Toon World. They're going to have to also follow it up with another spell and trap destruction. But we do also have other cards to help against that too. So for some face-up spells, we have 3 Vengeful Bog Spirit. So all your Toons can attack the turn they come into play. So let's make all monsters have that ability. so no monsters on the field can attack the turn they come into that are normal summoned, flip summoned, or special summoned. And again, here's where Tsukiyumi comes into play. So your opponent normal summons a monster, they can't attack. On your turn, you play Tsukiyumi, flip it face down, and then on their turn, they're going to have to flip it back up again, and it won't be able to attack. So that's, you know, a little strategy you could use in this deck. For some more burn damage, I put in Wave Motion Cannon, because your opponent's going to be trying to get rid of cards like this and cards like Toon World, and so having this sitting there, it just creates another point of pressure for your opponent to want to get rid of it, and then they might have to waste a breaker on it just to get rid of it, rather than wasting it on or using it on your Toon World or your Vengeful Bog Spirit. Just to help out with some of the weak monsters in this deck, I put in 1 Mage Power. So if you can actually get out your Mass Sorcerer, which is 900 attack, you could drop down a Mage Power. If you have Toon World out, if you have Vengeful Bog and Wave Motion, it's going to get really big. So it gives it 500 attack for each face-up, each card in the spell and trap zone. So this can boost up a monster pretty big. 1 Nobleman Across out. Again, we're playing Tsukiyumi, and you can banish their face-down monster. Also, you got the 3 Magician of Faith if you need to bring it back to do it again. 2 Scapegoats. 2 reasons for the Scapegoats. One is you can actually use goat tokens to tribute your Blue Eyes Toon Dragon, because Blue Eyes Toon Dragon is not a normal summon with tributes, it's a special summon with tributes. So it doesn't fall under the category that Scapegoat prevents, because it cannot be tributed for a tribute summon. So it breaks the rules essentially for the Toon. Then we got, for the traps, we got 3 Nightmare Wheel. This is more burn for the deck, and this is just to help control your opponent's monsters. So you target 1 monster your opponent controls, it cannot attack or change its battle position, and then when it leaves the field, destroy this card. And then during each of your standby phases, while that monster is on the field, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. So what's good about Nightmare Wheel is it doesn't target a face-up monster only, it targets any monster. So if your opponent's monster is face down, you can actually activate Nightmare Wheel. They can't flip that monster up, so again with Tsukiyumi, you can flip their monster down and then activate Nightmare Wheel, and that monster's going to be stuck in defense position, face down. And then every turn they're going to take 500 damage. So this again puts more pressure on your opponent to try and get rid of it. And, you know, again, it slows your opponent down from being able to attack you. Then for some defense, to try and stop your opponent's spell cards and stuff, you know, Nobleman Across out. If they try to Nobleman your Magician of Faith, we have Spell Shield type 8. So if they activate a spell card that targets a monster on my side of the field, I can just negate that spell. And then if they play any spell card, I can send 1 spell card from my hand to negate that. So if they try and play Heavy Storm or MST or something like that that's going to ruin my day, I can just pitch already, you know, maybe I have a Toon World in my hand I don't need anymore, or maybe I'd flip Magician of Faith and brought back a spell that I don't necessarily need at the time, just pitch it to negate their spell. And then for some final negation, just because, you know, you want to protect your cards in this deck, is 3 Solemn Judgment, just to say no to anything. So if they try and play a Chaos Monster, if they try and play whatever, you're going to just say no. So that's the deck that I came up with. Feel free to let me know what cards you would take out or what you would like in this deck. I know this missing like a bunch of staples, but I wanted to try and build the deck to focus on its little combo that it does. You know, that's what it's really focusing on, is getting out the tunes, being able to attack directly, and do some burn damage in the process. Anyways, let me know what you think. Throw some comments down below. Hope you like the deck. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.